My name's Thomas Waddle. This is the Whisky Sour Hour, and we're joined by Chris Black. How you doing?
Hey, good to see you, man.
It's kind of weird because we've been talking for the last 10 minutes and I kind of chat, try to work out how right did these recordings save and stuff like that. But thanks for bearing with me there just while we were kind of working through those gremlins. First
Yeah,
time
you're
doing
welcome.
a video here, so this is quite exciting. Two handsome mugs on show, so it's what it's about. Yeah, no, that's it. Vogue. But first of all, thanks for very much for coming on. It's been there's been a lot of back and forth and just the support and chat we've had through social medias and that. It's been really good in email. So thanks so much for coming on.
Oh, not at all, man. Thanks for the support. That really stood out. That was really, really nice. When you've got someone that looks at stuff and kind of seems to care about it instantly, and it resonates with them. That's what appeals to me more than anything else. More than try to get screen time with, anyone else. It means a lot.
Yeah, no, it's kind of what I'm trying to build the foundation. What we're doing here is anybody that comes on, and it's like I like to, everybody kind of stays in their lane, which is fine, but it's also nice to kind of branch out and you just see the passions of some people. We had there was a boy, Jordan McGonigal, on does VR racing and or virtual racing, and it was like something I've know nothing about. And that episode, I'm like watching videos on YouTube after it, going, I know exactly what he's talking about now. So I love just going out there and just the charcuterie board of people. I just love like trying a wee bit of each. It's cool,
just
man.
Cool stuff. Yeah.
That's it. So, obviously, we when we were talking earlier, like originally, it was an article in the Daily Record, and it was somebody I went to school with that had interviewed you, which I thought was like crazy. It read the article, which for anybody wanting to read, just Chris Black Paisley, put that in there, it comes up, and that kind of put me onto yourself. And then with the book coming out and stuff, it was almost like it was meant to happen. I believe the universe had put it out there. First of all, congratulations on the release of Capo, which is here. It's one of the, like, I have to be in the mood to read, and when we'd got it immediately, and this isn't me just saying it, immediately just the characters grabbed me and just the intro. We'll get to Capo in a bit. I just want to kind of get down to know who you are. So can we take it back to the beginning and just like what made you you? What was your foundation?
Oh wow. Well, the me that you see now, geez, a lot. Well, we moved from Paisley when I was 7. We came to Fife. Felt like a bit of an outsider for a long time, I have to say. But it's home. It's home now. Dalgety Bay has been my home for a long time. Having moved away, I moved down to England for a little while. I was a Ministry of Defence spiritual apprentice, and we went off down to Bristol. We all got tricked into moving to Bristol to be project managers at 21 years old, which was and so we claimed a lot of expenses and had a great time on taxpayer. And then I moved back up to Faslane and drove from Dalgety Bay every day. And I'd done another job, and then I got an offer from Oceaneer Multiplex in the south. Because I was electrical skilled, and that was like they stupidly showed me the little video, oceaneering from space to sea, and the video was this mad thing where it's like a guy in what we call a cyber chair. So I'm a remotely operated vehicle pilot technician. I'm actually like higher up than supervisor slightly. I'm higher up. I've been doing it 17 years. So they showed us that video when I went along there. And I just seen this chair with a F-16 fighter stick, a bank of screens in front of someone, a claw controller for the manipulator, and just flying a robot around the sea, which is what it is. It's 4 feet wide by about 6.5 feet tall, 2 robot arms, manipulators on the front, bank of cameras, and all different types of sonars and different types of gear, depending on what kind of work you're doing. Cutting tools, hydraulic tools, just boys' toys.
Great.
And so about a year later, I did that. I got into it, and I started working offshore, and that changed things for me. And then, a few years into it, I went through a divorce, and I kind of reprioritized things, and I started to enjoy myself a little bit more. And then I got in another relationship, and then COVID happened. And having worked offshore for quite a long time already, and moved through the trades quite a lot, they were offering like little 3 to 5 day trips. And I'm like, well, I kind of had a little bit put away, and I had this great opportunity. Someone had spoke to my wife and said, you guys are basically semi-retired before COVID hit. Why don't you go and do some extra work? And I thought it was a terrible idea. But my missus really wanted to do it. We went and did one thing. I got offered a TV advertisement. She thought it was a terrible thing. And it just kind of hit for me. The buzz just kind of like lit up my soul. And it made me feel kind of really good every time I would finish a job and I'd go home, and I felt like a better person. I treated people better. I felt like I was treated better. So during COVID, I said to them, look, I'm going to go and be on this TV series called The Rig on Amazon.
I remember that. Yeah, no,
Funnily
it
enough,
was very cool. Yeah, no, I like that.
Turquoise long sleeve Marks and Spencer's polo shirt, man.
I'm going to have to go back and watch that now and look out for you. That's it.
Don't. And they have an ROV in it, and I'm 99.9% sure that they based. I mean, this could be liable, so I better not say it. I'm 99.9% sure that they based that little segment on what I told them, because I made a joke. They asked me what ROV is like, and it's very hard to explain.
Mm-hmm.
And then it boils down to, oh, so you just like play PlayStation for a living? And I'm like, yeah, whatever. And so you watch it, and one of the characters runs up to Big Abraham, who's one of the actors, and oh, such and such, you're the only one qualified to fly the ROV. Guys are crane up. He gets an Xbox controller out with a desktop computer, and it's just a cutscene. Nobody launches it, nobody recovers the ROV, which is a bit of an operation. But it's just an ROV in the water, and he's like, with his controller. And I seen it, and I was like, you bunch of. So anyway, so I did that, and I felt great, and then people just kept offering me things. And in terms of Capo, I was sitting here thinking, I'm really lucky with these films or these projects I'm being offered, because it's kind of based on how I look, which for guys, I presume is quite a nice thing. So I was getting these roles which I quite liked, but I would see self-tapes come in for things. I thought, God, that's hard. I don't know if I want to do that. But I would see people going for all of them. Like, they had to do it because they were dependent upon acting to pay the bills. And I thought to myself, well, imagine I had to be dependent upon it. And then I thought, well, why not be proactive and write for what you want to be? Just write. And then I started just writing a story, and then I just wrote it for myself. It's 3,000 words. And then it became like 63 episodes. Then it became 120,000 words, massive book. And then it became a feature film. And I met a bunch of people. I had a lot of really nice people in Ireland spoke to me. And then it snowballed. And then I got with a head top end development editor, and he like raked my soul. And then we ended up with the novella, basically, that is Capo. So that's how I'm here. It's a short one.
That's it. No, that's what it's about. And then so the connections come from just, it's one of those things, everything just lined up properly. When you've met people on the rig, and you just start, I don't want to say networking, because I think networking always seems like it's quite cold, if you get what I mean. You're just you're picking people up, you're collecting them because it benefits you, when the reality is I want to make actual connections. Is that what kind of you're like yourself?
A wee bit, yeah. And I think the best connections you ever make are the non-intentional ones. Yeah. It's just, somebody said to me, even before I started the acting thing, said, you've got to get out of the house. And a lot of people, I mean, we're sitting on an internet chat, right? But it's only because I'm at the other side of the country. And I had a Teams call with my work. Oh my goodness. But once you get out of the house, it's amazing the things that can happen. If you walk down the street, and a lot of people, they'll look at their phones, or they'll feel insecure, which is a really normal thing. But if you turn around to someone and say hello, or if you say a stupid comment, but a polite one and nice and friendly, you'd be amazed at the things you find out. And that's kind of, like you said, that's what happened to the rig. I met a bunch of people there. And then, like that, what I find as well is making connections. So I would do something like the rig, and then a massive audition. So I got an agent during it. So a massive audition would come in for Outlander, a main cast part or something. And you go, oh my God, because now I've got in touch with this casting director. She's got me an Outlander drawer or whatever, which means nothing if you're Chris Paul. By the way. It does, maybe if you're from Kensington, it might mean a lot but so then you see that, but they're just looking at you, and then you don't get that, but then an independent studio comes along and says, "Oh, would you like to do this?" So what you see and hope for might be like, a million steps ahead, but then someone comes in with this 10 steps ahead thing, and that's how I feel that this whole making connections thing's kind of panned out for me so far.
It's very natural. It's like I think the
Yeah.
worst thing you can do with these things is almost like force them into existence. It's like sometimes it takes hold, and these ideas they'll sit with you for years, and then nothing will come of it. And then other ones you'll start working with, and it's that snowball. It's the best way to describe it. It just gradually builds up and builds up, picks up a bit of momentum, and next thing you know, you're where you're going, you're on your way. So no, it's exciting.
It's the journey, isn't it? And even when you think you are where you want to be, but hey, you're not dead yet, so it's still part of the journey. And that's the amazing thing to me, to try and keep a focus on enjoying it, which is really hard to do sometimes, especially, say you're on you're in the middle of writing the book, I'm really struggling with this paragraph, or you're on a film set and someone's getting you to do a take for X amount of times, but you use the first cut. I'm not naming any names. but yeah, it's just trying to remember that you're on that journey is a very important thing, I think. And it's like someone said to me, how did you go about writing this? And I could tell you, but it's not a plan to be recommended to anyone. And I don't think anyone's plan for where they got should be recommended to anyone. And you can always kind of sum it up, and people think it's fun to say, you've got to find your own path and all that sort of stuff. And that's a summation, but it's very true. Because, like, for example, how I wrote this book was like I did 3,000 words, a story about a gangster that I wanted to tell. He was a gangster and a pimp, and he ran a strip club originally. And I was like, I can't do this. This is Sopranos. It's terrible. It was brilliant, actually. But, but then it changed to something else. And then I thought, this could be a pilot. And then, wait a minute, this could be a series. But it's not. But hold on, we've written 120,000 word novel by yourself because you're an idiot and you thought you'd go ahead and that would be easy, right? And so I've done it, and that 120,000 version is still there. And then you go and speak to a very well-educated development editor who's went to like Oxford or Cambridge or something and has written his own books, and he's like, crime fiction. And then they teach you the rules, and okay, you don't write to do the rules, you have to know the rules to break the rules, but you do have to discipline yourself. So that process is in no way recommended. It's continually making mistakes to get to where I was, I think, and enjoying it.
No, absolutely. I think you're totally right. It's like, you could read up the novel writing rule book, the script writing rule book, and I'll be honest, I find that almost like my back gets up. I'm like, so I'm not supposed to do that. Why? And a lot of time you're like, actually, you're right, that I shouldn't have done that. But it's about skirting around them, bending them, breaking a few, and it's. I think that's just how you get some of the best kind of shows. Like, I don't think you would have non-linearity if people stuck to the rules. You wouldn't be able to have like non-linear stories or unreliable narrators. So no, it makes absolute sense, man. Just to kind of know what you're doing, and then I'm going to bend this and break this.
It's so
bit
true.
here. Yeah,
I think it comes from experience as well. That nothing. The best of the best is always something that's broken the rules. And if you go to college, university, or school, or whatever, those people that are telling you the rules, they're not Chris Nolan or they're not Lee Child, are they?
Yeah.
They're not making millions off of this. They're teaching the basics, which you do need to know.
Mm-hmm.
But and I found the same thing with things like self-tapes. And for a long time, you make self-tapes, right, as an actor. And casting directors are telling us as well, and it's true. You've got to have your lighting right, you've got to have your background that's non-reflective, and then make sure your clothing's a different colour and all this. So don't have too much going on in the background. And then you see like Henry Cavill's audition for 007 or something like that, and you're like, well, wait a minute. And I don't know if you've seen it. It's decent, but you're like,
aye,
all the times are stuck to what you guys prescribed, you can date him for even some of Robert Downey Jr. stuff as well. Not sticking to the rules.
I know.
Yeah.
I think
it's the best.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, actually, you mentioned that. I recently saw the Tony Stark one that Robert Downey Jr. did, and it was just that was it. I mean, it's like it's perfection. I bet they were watching that and they're just like, that's him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And if they'd prescribed it, they would tell him what they want, right?
Mhm.
But they're not. I'm not going to say they don't know what they want, but when they see what's that je ne sais quoi, then like,
Aye.
oh, okay, they
Yeah.
you know, they messed their pants, and they're like, no, that was right. So
Absolutely.
now I think I just have fun with stuff, and try and do it to the best of your ability within what you've learned.
Yeah.
That's what I try and do. Not that it's paid off quite yet, but we're still working on it.
And the process, obviously, a writing Capo itself. So you know, you've done your 3,000 words from that, like the beginning of that to where we are now. How long's that process been for you?
Well, that that not process. That was about 4 years.
Yeah.
But again, that's a series of mistakes. So now, with what I know in hindsight, so Capo Part 2, or whatever we're going to call it, that's going to be double the size and likely can be done in 8 months, because now I know how to structure it. You
Yeah.
know, we'll get your invitation, refusal, acceptance, adventure, and off we go on the story. And it's great. And there's so much more to the story. And now I've hit everyone with a short, sharp burst, so they know who the characters are.
Mhm.
Hopefully not everyone, obviously.
No,
There's an amount of Reddit.
Yeah, no, that's it. We're getting there, but
Yeah, we are. So yeah, so that, I mean, so that's it. Took 4 years. It'll probably take a quarter of the time, if not less. Next time around, the plan's already there. I already know it.
Mhm.
I know what the story's going to be. I originally made a basically a 3-story arc, and
Yeah.
within that, I wrote so much more than you get in the book. But I don't think you would get what's in the book. Although now that I've done the audiobook the other day,
Yeah.
I can see improvements. I can already. And me and Alistair George down at Canongate, she goes, "Oh my God, what a legend!" The people he was
Aye.
talking about that he had in that studio, man. You know, my bum was in the same place that Ewan McGregor's bum had been. Can you imagine that?
You're just rubbing yourself in the seat. Hey,
Yeah, well,
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
it's that, like Alistair sat, right? Sorry, I'll come back to the point if you want.
No, listen, no,
Okay.
no. Tangents are the best. Come on, that's it.
Right, Alistair, he goes to me. He's talking about his kayaking. Oh man, this guy's had such a great journey. So he did the same thing.
Mhm.
He had his studio, and he had this kind of. He's like, I don't know if I want to do it anymore, and it was really tough. So he had this epiphany, and he just started to enjoy himself, and he realised that he didn't want to do anything else. He did love this. He let go for a bit, but then he kept at it, because, like in the creative industry, and I was actually on set at Amazon's The Rig probably about the same time as this was happening, which is really weird. So just across the road from where we recorded this.
Mhm.
And he was talking about his kayaking, and he gets out and he does his biking and all the rest of it. And he goes into caves and under the water in like France. Oh right,
It's
he's
like
got he'll get his
spelunking
GoPro on
one
and all
thing,
that.
but being underwater as well, just oof, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that, to be honest.
He's
Oof.
an adventurous soul, but really young at heart. 64, but super young at heart. It's just like talking to one of our mates. It's great, and so we're talking about that, and then it led me on. We're watching the Long Way Round,
Is
first
that?
series.
Aye, yeah.
Aye,
Because there's just a new one just came out, I believe. I think
aye.
it's an Apple. I've not watched that one yet, so aye.
No, me either. Well, the missus just got a new iPhone, and she got a free subscription, and then that was coming out. So we watched a couple of things, then it's like Wrong Way Rounds.
Yeah.
And so we've been watching that in tandem with Clarkson's Fan. But
Yeah.
so I recommended that, and he said, "Oh, you know, he was here," and he's like, "Oh, he's so cool." And then he just, I turned up because I had to park at the Ocean Terminal and
Mhm.
walked. And I looked pretty cool, but not as cool as Ewan McGregor. But the way he looked so cool, and he just drove his bike right in. And I'm like, not everybody is Ewan McGregor.
Actually, I saw him in the Waitrose podcast recently, and he was on promoting the show, and it was all motorbike centric as well. I think he just takes it with him everywhere, you know, and just turns up. If he can drive it in somewhere, he's going to do it. You know what I mean? So,
Well,
McGregor, but who's stopping him?
Exactly. God. The thing is, he gets off and flashes a smile. You're happy to see him, aren't you? You know what I mean?
Oh no, 100%.
He radiates. But that's the same thing, because when I thought about it, I looked down at the window at the car park. And yeah, you could just and the beautiful, it's down in Leith, you know, by the river.
Yeah.
As it comes into the city, I was like, wow, imagine, I've just spent ages in traffic. How nice would that have been just to drive from Dalgety Bay in Fife across the bridge in the sun?
Aye.
And everyone's better in the sun. And just, and not care, like some here for an audiobook, so I could turn up, you know, like, you know, all manky and all the rest of it, and no one would care. So I think, you know, someone gives me some money, but I'm getting motorbikes.
Aye, no, there's some cool ones out there, by the way. Like I'm not, you always think sports bikes, man. I think I'm a cruiser guy. I've seen a couple, and
Definitely.
Oh my god, some of them. I think it was Triumph one with like a 2-litre engine. That's ridiculous. A rocket or something. It's called. I'll have that.
The rocket.
Yeah.
My mate's got my mate Chris Harley's got a Triumph, and he's always at me to get something. I don't have the space for it. But yeah, he's just below a rocket, I think.
Yeah. They just look they look incredible, man. It looks comfy. I mean, I don't know. I'm a bit of a shite bag with that kind of stuff. I think I'm a cager. I think that's what they call you in it. I'll stick in a car, but something like that just looks dead cool, especially with the weather we've been having recently. You know, like.
But you know what, McGregor might agree with you there, because I see what he's talking about. He's like, I don't go too fast. And you see, he's got the tourer, and he's got a Harley, and Moto, whatever it is, a Moto Guzzi. So yeah, I did my CBT actually. It's expired now. For an acting job, I learned to ride a blooming horse as well. That same summer, it was ridiculous. It's awful. Actors don't need to ride horses. That's you've got stunt doubles.
Aye,
you just need to be able to get off one. But
dismount.
Aye, but that's the thing. Even just going round in a small CC thing, to me, you know, if you're saying you're a shite bag, I'm probably, well, I am one. I would be one till I got comfortable, and then I would probably to be moderated, you know. But it'd still be enjoyable, even going at about 60, 70 on one of these things. 30.
It's just different, isn't it? You know, I mean, I do enjoy it, I like riding a bike, but there's just something about that. You know, there's a kind of freedom that comes with it. I think the lifestyle of it, and like you're saying, you can just disappear up north, do the NC 500 or something in one of them. That's it.
Yeah,
that's a bucket list material there.
Yeah, I'm there for it at some point.
No, absolutely. Well, you mentioned the audiobook there. When is there a time scale for that? Do you think, like where we are with that?
Rough time scale. I've said to Alistair, no pressure. Like he's brilliant in the way. Like if you ever send him an email, he replies instantly, which is difficult sometimes. I'm only joking. It's not. He was like, so we did it in 2 sessions, and he's like, if we'd done it in one, then he wanted to do it in 2 sessions. I could have had it finished for you. Are you desperate? And I was like, no, it's cool. So the artist is just he works offshore, and he had terrible bandwidth. Had a data limit, believe it or not, offshore yet.
What is this, 1990 here? What's going on?
Yeah, you think life's still, you know, all, you know,
I know.
Beer tankards and you know, whatever. No, it's some places it's rubbish. So I'm trying not to go to rigs. Anyway, trying to stay on boats. But yeah, Ryan, who did the art for the cover, and so I was getting him to compress it, you know, the square version.
Yeah.
Getting back today. So
sorry, I was just looking at it there. I was like, oh, the tactility of touching this here. No, that's it. No, it's really good. It's when it came in that. I don't know about you, man. I love a good sniffy book. I love the kind of paper stock you're using. You know, it's a bit weird that way, a bit anal that way, but I like it. It's good.
It's finest, yeah. I was really impressed actually. So I was a wee bit the test ones. I was like, it's a bit floppy, but I was really happy, man. Like, you know, you're sitting there holding it, and you're like, this is cool. Yeah, man. I pulled it out, and I was like,
no, that's it. I mean, you've taken something from conception all the way up to, you know, like reality, really, with this, and the fact it's here, and I mean, maybe it's just me, and I'm a sucker for Scottish things. But one of the bits that struck me, and I don't have my notes or anything in it. I'm just reading it to enjoy it, and it stuck with me was the reference to like the size of Hampden and stuff like that. You know, when you're talking about the village, it's right at the beginning, and it just straight away I was like, I'm in. Like, you know what I mean? You were talking about the size of Hampden to a base, and I was like, that's quality, because like I understand that. It's like somebody could be like, it's like the length of the Brooklyn Bridge, and you're like, that's quite big, I suppose, but you've never having to walk over it, you know. So Hampden, I was like, that's perfect. So yeah.
Well, no.
But what's the Hampden Row? That kind of, so it's all good, man. But yeah, no, listen, so far, as I say, I'm about halfway through, just with times, like I said to you earlier, in the middle of like finishing a house move and stuff. So we're getting there. But so you get to the point, you're ready to publish. How does that feel like before? Like you've got your book in your hand, you're starting to get it. Like, what's that like for you? That must have been some buzz.
When the proof comes in, oh man, that was it was a buzz, but it's nerve-wracking because so many people know about it, and I had a couple of test readers, and you don't want to let people down. This is a huge thing. And I don't know if you know this, but I've actually filmed and I showed it. It was on my stories.
Yeah, I think I shared it. Is this the one that was at the West Lothian Film Festival, perhaps?
It was, yeah. The Capo proof of concept that was filmed a wee while ago.
Yeah.
And there's some of what I say in the proof of concept, the character, what I say, what Ezio says, doesn't make it to the book because there was time in between it, and I watched it back, and I learned a lot. So that's part of my learning process as well. So that exists, and all the people that were in that, Antoinette Frost that plays Annabelle, she was Batgirl on the stand-in for Batgirl in the Batgirl movie.
Oh man, that's awesome. See what they did to Parney Street, man. I'm so annoyed when we get to see that, because I was like, I used to go there. A1 Comics, used to spend a lot of time in my youth there, man.
Yeah.
So that was so cool. But gutting.
I know. And then
Michael Keaton, so cool.
They sent Brendan Fraser down the middle of the street, knocking off flamethrowers, and didn't have any permission from the council. Like, what? Like, they burnt bus stops and everything. Apparently, it's the worst run thing that's ever happened.
I know. I don't know what it was. DC should just open an office in Glasgow, because they're doing that much there between the Flash, the Batman, obviously Batgirl, and that. And they'll have to come back, surely. Because Warner Brothers are filming there like regularly now, so. The Running Man and stuff as well. Like, it's exciting times. But
it's a lot of fun.
It is. What with the setting? Obviously, it's. I was talking to one of my friends at work about it, because I was excited, and like they've assured me they are going to pick it up. I think they're just waiting to payday, which is fine, because that's next week. That's okay. But we were talking about, like, they were like, "Oh, is it kind of like Tartan Noir?" And I said, "No, really. Like, I couldn't really put my finger on it. Is it? Do you have like a, you don't want to pigeonhole things, but do you have like a kind of genre that you've put it in? Like,
I think that's the toughest part, and that's why I had to learn how to kind of stylistically crime fiction, because it's in Glasgow, because you're dealing with criminals. But really, it's a little bit more Jack Reacher, but it's not. It's based in Scotland, and when you say based in Scotland, you go, Rebus or Laidlaw, or if you're thinking TV, you're kind of getting a wee bit kind of cringe sometimes, without being cruel to anybody. Some of it great, but this for me was always. If we're talking about cinematic feel, I always wanted it to feel a little bit more HBO than anything else in terms of the action. So I wanted the action to really pop, but have a level of quality that really it carries you. So, weirdly, in terms of genre, my reading inspiration genre is more fantasy novels.
Nice.
So, like, I'm a big Brandon Sanderson, obviously Robert Jordan, Wheel of Time. Joe Abercrombie, though, is a massive influence on me, which is hard when you do an audiobook if you've ever listened to Stephen Pacey narrate a Joe Abercrombie novel, because he's like unbelievable with all these characters. He's one of the best narrators I've ever heard in my life. And I come along and try and do my 10 characters or whatever. but so that's it. So there's a lot of moments where you'll see the hero struggle, and then a swell, and then these full power moments almost, in terms of feeling family and bonding, because I want the reader to go away feeling good. I want, when someone reads this, to go, "Oh my goodness, I'm going to struggle through this with these people," because you have to. But then, here we go, and then they say something, and you go, "Uh-oh," and your pulse starts quickening. And you get this. That's what I love, and I think deep down as creatives, we all want to make people smile, and that means more than money. And that means more than anything. So if you can touch someone's heart and make them feel better for a minute, an hour, a day, whatever it is, or God forbid ever inspire anybody, that would melt my soul.
No, 100%. I think it's funnily enough you should say that, because like when I talk to people, like, I mean, there's something nowadays and this is just a kind of a wee side tangent. You mentioned HBO. I think that is, to me, is the benchmark when it comes to quality. Writing, if you're even thinking about, you said fantasy, if your Game of Thrones and that, I mean, some of that stuff's bigger than movies. House of the Dragon, that kind of stuff. And I find that nowadays with the stream of content that you get, especially like something like, a Netflix, which is fine, but I find that I can't sit down and watch the stuff because I feel like it's the way it's done now. It's that second screen experience, and I like to be the focus, and I don't. I know
term, man, that term.
That's exactly, and it's horrible because like that. I grew up. I love.
Yeah.
I've never done acting or anything or films, but I love movies, and I love it's such a vast. Anything I watch, as long as it's good, in my opinion. To me, it doesn't have to be good. I just mean like if I enjoy it. And I feel like my wife and I, Lauren, were in the middle of it. So HBO for us is just like the pinnacle. So we recently watched The Sopranos last year, just because incredible. Like it's wickedly funny. Like it's so darkly funny.
It's clever.
It really is, and it's like silly little callbacks that you're like, oh, and like you're saying, the amount of times that somebody will just say something, and you're like, oh, that's going to come back. How many times has Polly Walnut said something? You're like, I love you, but you're really cruel, man. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
We're watching 6 Feet Under at the moment, and it's just incredible, man. So like the writing, and I'm like, this is 25 years old. It's so ahead of its time. But the opening prologue in the book, I want, for want of a better term, the action sequence, because I'm reading it, and I read when I go to my bed, so I was like, right, we'll start getting in, and it was almost like I was watching a movie in my phone, because I was awake after it. I was trying to relax, and it's kicking off. So you're totally right with what you're saying, and it's got that kind of HBO quality, like it's so well laid out in my mind. I can totally imagine everything that's going on, if you get what I mean. Wow. I really appreciate it, man. No, the prologue itself is just the setup in that, and you were talking about like the characters, the whole bar scene at at the beginning up to the meetings and stuff, and it was like you could tell these characters. It's amazing, and you know that they all like one another, and there's a history there, and it's interesting. I was like, I want to know what's going on there. So whether I don't know spoilers, I just want to say, like, everybody knows one another, and you feel it in the writing, and I really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you, man. That's the intention, and there's a little bit of a cause for saying, oh, maybe you should build it right at the start. But where I was going with it was, let's just get them established. They're a gang.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You will find out a little bit of history. But because the book is such a short, kind of not short. It's a very straightforward adventure, I feel, compared to what it could have been. And I wanted to leave people. I don't want them to not have enough, but I don't think that happens. I think that you do get plenty, but I want to keep you because there's way more. And so, for example, book 2, you're going to find out more about Ezio growing up in Glasgow, perhaps. Book 3, probably. It might not make it to book 2, so it'll probably be book 3. You get a bit of Annabelle's history, how she came to be. So at the moment, we're really hanging a lamp on it. There's a point where Kev says, that's when I met him for the first time, and Annabelle came later. That's it. That's it. But and actually, you've got the extra stuff that came with it.
So I do, and it does say don't open until we're finished. So
no.
I put that into we've got these like you can see the kind of big IKEA behind me. So I've got the small ones in the living room, and I was like, I'm just sitting that in there, slid it in smoothly, and I was like, I'm coming back for that. Although I did keep the bookmarks, I do love a good bookmark. So I was like, need to use that. So as I say, it's you mentioned it there. The characters feel established, and they feel like there's a history there, and it's almost like I feel like I always end up talking about like superhero stuff, and it's not to be like that at all. But it's like the way every superhero movie from like the dawn of time up to quite recently had to be an origin, and they didn't put the suit on to like an hour in, and you're like, right, we get it, we know how Uncle Ben or Kryptons went. The most recent Superman movie just throws you in, and it takes you like 20 minutes to kind of get into it, and you're like, and then it feels really uncomfortable. You feel it, and then all of a sudden you're like, I get it. It just the switch flicks in your head, and immediately, like I say, that the whole like opening bar sequence up until Is it where are we? Morris comes in, and I was like, I know all these characters. Like, I felt like I was in a stall in the bar just listening to them, and that's the highest compliment I can give. Honestly, it took me there.
That's huge, man. That's a huge compliment, and I hope it resonates like beyond Scotland as well. I think it's Scottish. I think it's British too.
Yeah.
But I think the Americans that I've met in my course of life and work and all the rest of it on film sets and offshore, who are generally some of the nicest people I've ever met. Some of them have read it and they get it straight away too, which was amazing. I met a guy right at the West Lothian Film Festival. I'll not tell you his name. He's lovely. Oh, he's lovely
big name
guy.
shouts.
But he said he won't mind me saying this either. He might not even mind me sharing his name. But he said, oh, he was he'd lived in Glasgow, right? And he'd moved away to sunnier climates and come back. So he said to me, when he watched the concept, he was like, I know them, like the big guy. I see him, and then you've got McGovern there, and you've got. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. It's like came out with the actual names of people from Glasgow. And I'm like, this is I was like, oh no, it's he's like, no, it's fiction, but you really kind of get the character is what he was expressing.
No,
that was massive.
I think that is huge. Like, as I say, you can. There's a realness to them, and it's like coming from. I think it doesn't even have to just be Glasgow, like west of Scotland, I think, or even just the kind of central belt. You're going to know somebody that's not to the extremes of some of the characters, but certainly you're like, you're a wee bit like such and such, like SEO or that, So it's but I think that's just that's. And it's like anywhere, anywhere that's set somewhere. Like if somebody read like a Morse novel for back in the day, they're going to be like, I know somebody that was exactly like that, and it's just it's natural, and it's cool, man. I think that's brilliant. That you can, if like even like a Rebus kind of novel, you're like, folk for Edinburgh, be like, I know somebody that's exactly like that, So it's understandable. Or in Welsh novels as well, like they're probably some of the most relatable, really, isn't it? Maybe no, you don't want to say Alexo, but or a Begbie, but you're there.
Yeah, no. But people have got like a tint to that, and you're like, oh wow.
Well, that's it. It's like almost like I think acting. And I used to be writing in my wrestling, and I always found that the best characters were just that person turned up to 11. And that's what it is. It's like a lot of the time, the best characters in anything, it's just Polly Walnuts we mentioned. There's probably thousands of people like that, but no to the point where it's turned up to 11, So, great. It's such an enjoyable read. I wrote down some of the names of the characters that because we've got like SEO. Is it Trevino? Am I saying it right? Because I always worry when I'm saying it right.
No, you are. I can tell you where that comes from if you want.
Well, is it a town? I feel like I've heard the name before.
Well, if you want to tell me, then I can plagiarize.
No.
I can steal that.
Well, when I seen SEO, I thought in my head, Assassin's Creed. I love Assassin's Creed. So when I saw it, that's what I was thinking. But I don't know if that's it. Maybe not. I don't know.
It's got a wee bit of that. There was a book that I read. I won't say what it was, but there was a wee dog in it. And that really struck a chord with me. And I wanted to be a name that people don't use. And yeah, that's Assassino. You've got that kind of element to it, and he's not climbing the walls but he will jump off some at some point pretty soon. So he is, and Trevino comes from. So the original character was a psychopath, and I thought that these hero characters are really like straddling this line. They're on a nice edge. So the name Trevino is actually taken from. Should I say this? The author that wrote the Hannibal Lecter novels, he interviewed a guy named Trevino, and that's where a lot of it came from. Now, some of the rest of the inspiration apparently for Hannibal Lecter, which is weird, right, came from Sonny Bean. I don't know if you know that. It's a Celtic legend.
He's for doing Ayrshire way, mate. That's aye. So I think I'm pretty sure there was a movie it was a straight to video movie back in the kind of mid 2000s and that. But Sonny Bean. I think it was down it was at I don't know, Mauchline Way or something like that.
That's right. Right.
No, I know Sonny Bean.
If you want a real treat, there's another 2-part movie coming out towards the end of the year or next year, starring a certain dark-haired, bearded gentleman,
Oh.
which might be based on the legend of Sonny Bean. It's a very different take, but
yeah.
yeah.
I think just kind of Scotland and film in general. We mentioned obviously the amount of films that are being shot within Glasgow, just because it has that kind of grid America, pattern, especially the city centre. But do you think like it's just that it's so, and you see where the likes of Liverpool as well, they're just so cinematic looking. Like I'm surprised it's took to this time to get used.
Oh man, yeah, and it's a shame as well that we don't go wider, but we do, because the whole country's cinematic. The mountains are cinematic.
Oh yeah.
Loch Ness, which was in the last thing I did. Was it the last? No, the second last thing I did. It is stunning. Like if you take a drone and you just scoop over any of it just for a second, like you're there and you get it, and it can take your breath away.
It's just we're so lucky to be kind of where we are. Even like you're obviously getting across to the kingdom. I was saying to my wife, I was looking at my memories. We were up at St Andrews 2 years ago today, and it was the first time I'd ever been there. And you know that way, I always kind of like look down in golf and stuff, and it was like being in that atmosphere and being around it. I was like, I get it. I get it now. You know what I mean? So I started, going to the golf driving range with my father-in-law just to take it in. And I'm like, it feels Scottish, it feels right. You're like, yes.
The Robin Williams sketch always got mentioned to me.
Oh, of course.
You're gonna a little hole right here. No way over there.
Go for hole.
Go for hole. That's one.
I know. I remember the one you mean. Yeah, no, it is, but it's just it's like we're so fortunate. Like, I mean, we could be 40 minutes. We could be in Sonny Bean country, and 40 minutes the other way. You can be near Loch Lomond, and it's just like see at that point you're like. But if the weather was like immaculate, say 3/4 of the year, you're not going anywhere else. You are sorted.
Yeah, you're pretty, and I feel pretty lucky myself. Actually, I look at this window, which is covered behind me. Just off to the right, I can see the Forth Bridges. So it's pretty crazy.
That is pretty crazy. I remember driving across that, like, and I just never been in that area before, and I was a support worker, so I had a van full of guys. We're just driving over it, man, and you know what way I'm like trying to kind of stay in the road, but I'm not trying to look around and kind of see what's going on.
I still do that in the bridge. I'm like, she's normally in the passenger seat, and I'm kind of giving it like, every single time.
The wee line monitors have to get back in. Where you go.
That's a nice
one. Yeah, so like I just to kind of, because we would end up yapping about this all day, just because Scotland is beautiful. But so like Ezio, when you're writing him, are you taking some of yourself and putting that in there? Is there a wee bit of that? Yeah.
It's all these characters are very exaggerated versions of either me or combinations of people. So Ezio is like, yeah. So the first story is, hey, if you could write something, like take things into your own hands. Write something that you want, that you would want to do. So it's, hey, you had the Thomas Crown affair, and then Pierce Brosnan becomes James Bond. You had Layer Cake, Daniel Craig becomes James Bond. And the better ones had something similar as well, or the better Bonds and stuff like that. So this, it's not an intentional Bond pitch, but it's the gritty thing that you want to do. That's not necessarily the overglossed. I mean, Bond's not overglossed anymore. Bond's great. It's gritty and brilliant.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that there are ones that are overglossed with too much gadgets, but
I'm a fan that to me is James Bond. I think it's like no even cool. I think Roger Moore's too far. I prefer I think a Pierce Brosnan and Sean Connery, mate. I'm a big fan of Timothy Dalton. I'm not going to lie, mate.
Right. Oh, I was so worried you were going to say that I really love Roger Moore. No, that's too far. No. I'm one of those ones. I wish Dalton has got another film. Although I'm very grateful for the Daniel Craig stuff.
See, I'm a late kind of comer to that because I remember. Yeah, Casino Royale came out, and I was like, "Oh man, this is going to be good." And Daniel Craig would never. It was never going to be my first pick, but I mean, he just embodies that character like that he has, and I feel like Spectre and No Time to Die, and let's be honest, he's got the best music through. Like the best themes for them all, man. I listen to the
music.
soundtrack regular, outstanding. I feel like the first three, and I'm a big fan of Quantum of Solace. I quite like that as a kind of extra to Casino Royale, but it's just a wee bit too. It's a wee bit too dark and nasty. And there's room for that, you know. But yeah, there's a balance.
I like it. I think Quantum of Solace was like this sun bleached after effect from his trauma, and I get it. And they got it too because they released it and they're like, oh, hold on a second, let's go back and think about it. And then it didn't. They just deliver.
But then again, it does have probably one, like if you're doing a ranking of badass Bond moments, making him drink motor oil in the middle of the desert's pretty badass, mate. Like it's pretty graphic, you know. And we found him in the desert with a belly full of oil. He's like, that's pretty cool.
That's awesome. There's a thing. I read a Bond weirdly. Read a Bond novel when I was younger offshore. Devil May Care or something like that. Sebastian Faulks wrote it, and there was a desert scene, not quite with that stuff in it, but it was just like it. And I thought it was really cool that they were taking stuff like more kind of harsh, kind of SAS kind of based kind of things, and taking that to Bond. You know, the modern kind of stuff. I know it's not a modern thing, but in terms of filmmaking, I think going to that extreme is a little bit more modern. It's more realistic.
Yeah. I think there's just an inherent cinematic quality to what you have with James Bond, and there's a kind of quintessential Sean Connery Scottish, but like you're saying, a kind of Britishness there, because I don't think anybody would have batted an eyelid if you cast, you know, like I kind of think of a Welsh actor, but a Welsh actor in that role, and he had a Welsh accent. I don't think anybody would mind because it's like, oh, that it's just James Bond, and I've seen the I can't remember the name of the American actor that done, you know, the screen test for it, but I was like, that wasn't actually too bad either, you know. Like I think it's wait till you see the person. Robert Pattinson's Batman, exactly. You know, like I'm all over it. So I don't envy whoever's stepping into that role because Daniel Craig, I mean, he's great with, like, I think the movies, especially the last two, were a wee bit too long, and a wee bit too dour. But just everything he done. I mean, the Skyfall with the fixing his suit after the train. It's pretty badass, you know. So
it's awesome. And that's the thing. So based a little bit on that, and you mentioned music. That was a huge thing for me writing this as well. I've got two original tracks written for Capo, by a stunningly talented artist called Kate McCabe, and she's from Glasgow, and she's brilliant. I can send you the link to our song "Burden" on Spotify if you want.
I've already added that to my playlist because you shared it the other day there.
All right, did it? Yeah.
Was it the Loading? West Loading.
Yeah, I shared it online.
You shared it. Yeah, no. So I'd added it to my playlist, so it's already there. Listen, I just thought you'd met there. I didn't realize it was
no.
That's very cool. That's very cool.
It was awesome. That was a crazy process because I was gearing up to film my concept shoot, and I had the actors in place, some brilliant actors. And so I'm like, right, I need music, you know, because I wrote this sequence in, but he walks in through. It's a halfway point introduction, kind of to the character, and I had her playing in the bar. And the fact that it's a live music venue was really important to me because, you know, three guys sitting around the campfire. How do we get out all this crazy, intense action? What are they going to be dreaming of? They're going to be dreaming of like the good life, and that would be, maybe a strip bar. But to me, the Howling Wolf is where we filmed it, which is where I based the idea, and I'm amazed they allowed me in. So I listened to like a Instagram search # Glasgow singer, Glasgow artist, and all the rest of it, Scottish, and the amount of stuff that I heard, which was just over the top, kind of warbling, and like really, it was tough. Some of it was good, but then other times they would really indulge themselves. Kate, for some reason, she's perfect. She's that HBO level Glasgow that we wanted, and she'd done the composition and Burden's nuts. Like she'd done it herself, and that was so. She'd written a song called "Eyes of Water," which she plays in the middle of the proof of concept live, and we've kind of dubbed over a high quality version of that, which fits. And when she was in there, she was like, right, so how I met her. So I'd searched her and all the rest of it. I said, you know, you're amazing. Would you like to be in this? And she's like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you're asking me." And I'm like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you said yes." All that sort of stuff. And I said, "Well, you might not fancy this. This is maybe a bit too soon, but my friend Stephen Kelly, he's screening an independent film that we just made at the what's the place on Bath Street? Was it Bath Street? Anyway, we're screening it in Glasgow at this place. You know what? I won't give them a mention because, yeah."
Enough said. Enough
you,
said.
You know who they are. It was a nice enough venue, and we got wine and stuff, so it was cool. In a couple of years, but she's like, "Oh wow, I'd love to do that." So yeah, she came along, and we met and we spoke about it there. And Stephen was filming it, so we spoke to him. She's like, "I know what I'm going to do," and she went away and wrote this song called "Eyes of Water," which talks about the bones of the city, and so you can't get rid of it. And it's an awesome song, and it talks about it's about Ezio, but it captures Glasgow real well, and I can send you that too. But when she was there on the concept day, she was like, "Can I do another one? Because now I really get it." And then so we did that, and when I'm finalizing the book and I'm like revamping it. I mean, this has been revamped so many times as an author does, to get it to where I wanted it to be. I'm walking up and down the coastal path from Dalgety Bay to Aberdour, and that's on in my head. And to me, those are the moments when the ideas come. Because if I have a story point and I want to get it from A to B, but I don't want to force it. If I sit in front of a computer screen and try to think, how do I do this? And that's on Bath Street, and that's in Rutherglen, and what do I do? Or this is in Cardross. It doesn't work. I put on my headphones and I walk that coastal path, or I walk around the beautiful fields here, and then it just comes in. And I can't explain it, but the idea just comes into my head, and I'm really grateful for that. And so normally Burden would be on, or Caledon, or Spectre General from the Transformers the movie, you know. So that nothing's gonna stand in our way.
Nice. That's it.
That drives the helicopter thing at the start.
Yeah.
I was gonna have, yeah. And then you get certain parts where Reddy puts it on. It's not in the book, but to me, that's what drove it. So nearly every sequence in this book, in the story, is driven by music for me. So when you say Bond, totally makes sense, man.
No, absolutely. I think I've always, again, never played an instrument in that. I kind of like what I like, and I don't know how many times I've like scored a film in my head, you know, as in I'm not talking about like giving it a 9 out of 10. I'm talking about like, I think the song would really go well here. Or if you're listening to a song, you're like, oh man, you could do like an action sequence, or you could do like a, you know, I don't know how many times, like, see Foo Fighters or Pretender, man. I'm like, get that into a film, man. Come on.
I've heard so much Foo Fighters in there. You know, I'm like not the world's biggest, but I'm a massive Foo Fighters fan.
Oh yeah, no, I went and saw them last year, man, and it was like, I was like, how do you do a 3-hour concert? And then I went and saw that, and I was like, that was mad. It was so good. It was so good. Exactly. It was so good, man.
There was no satellites big enough to talk to God right enough, but no, that's huge. And hey, if you love visualizing music to a movie, Muse wrote a song for Quantum of Solace.
Oh no! Wait a minute.
Who's the one? Oh no, was it Skyfall?
Are you thinking Radiohead and it's Spectre?
Well, Radiohead did one, but Muse on the second Law album, and it's even at the end. It's called dong dong dong. Hold on, I'll just remember the name of it.
No,
basically,
that's always one I like to do. I'm just always like, oh, by the way, did you know that Sam Smith maybe done the actual theme? But if you listen to Spectre by Radiohead, because like Tom York is just outstanding, man. Like some of the compositions he does are just brilliant.
That's a stunning song as well.
Oh, it's amazing,
yeah. So you're going to be really upset because I think Adele took it. So what was that? Is Skyfall, isn't it?
Sky. Sky. That was Adele.
Supremacy by Muse.
Right, I'm going to I'll add that to the playlist because there's just something about it. See, when you get like,
sorry,
no, you're totally so. Just I know we could probably end up talking about a James Bond podcast here because it's like quintessential, isn't it? Like it's just you carry it. I think growing up in that, you had the marathons and ITV, and you're just like, I'm watching all these movies.
Oh man,
Outstanding. I mean, I don't know how many times I've seen, like, especially the Pierce Brosnan ones, the GoldenEye and that, but they're just cool. And I think
yeah,
like you totally get the like SEO and just the way, like, as I say, I thought reading it, I was like, this. I thought like Andy McNabb written. Like it's that kind of
yeah.
that granular detail with the language in that. And I was like, I wanted to know, did you speak to people about that to get that, or is that just from your time? With was it MOD? You said, sorry, or
Yeah, no, I didn't do too much when I was in the MOD. But funny you should say Andy McNabb. One of my earliest inspirations was not Bravo 20, but his book Immediate Action, which I don't know if he wrote it first or he wrote it after Bravo 20, but it's stunning, man. Like, if you read it, it talks.
no,
Oh,
I haven't. I'm just I
oh,
can imagine it, but it's just there's a authenticity that comes
aye,
with that stuff, and you're like, I get it, and that's what I was
aye.
saying with the likes of you, the way you write Scottish and Glasgow and there's an authenticity, and I as I say, I thought you were maybe in the armed forces or that, just because I was like, this feels legit, like I feel like I'm listening to a radio chatter here, so.
Oh, thanks, man. No, well, that was one of the big concerns I had. No, I wasn't. But one of my greatest concerns was moving into that territory
Mm-hmm.
and going into places where people think maybe you shouldn't, if you know what I mean. Maybe you
Yeah,
shouldn't be seeking the glory out of it and stuff like that. But the cool thing is, and I spoke to a bunch of people, man, I won't tell you who, but there's a few really cool folk, and they really enjoy that type of thing. They like. I'm not saying you're glamorizing it, because it is what it is,
yeah,
but even Andy McNabb in Bravo 20, it's in Bravo 20, the TV stuff as well. We're sitting watching Apocalypse Now.
yeah.
Before he goes out, and he's saying, "Yeah, this is what I do to." I think it's Chris Ryan is saying it to his wife or something. It might be somebody else. But generally these things are pretty cool. So I'm really glad to have gotten that from it. And yeah, to quote, have you ever the Transporter? So the old French guy in the original Transporter movie, Jason Statham's an excess of yes, isn't he?
Yeah, I remember the trilogy, and then they done that reboot, and I was like, I didn't need it.
No,
It was a bit weird. But yeah, no, the first couple I remember, because it was Luc Besson that done them. Was that who it was?
Yeah, it was. He was great to his action films. So Statham's like, "Oh, what were you forces?" And then he's going, "No, but I'm an ex-little boy," and we kind of all are at heart, eh? And
Yeah,
Lee Child writes Jack Reacher, but that's like his, it's not a Walter Mitty, but it's like that's what he wants to be. Reacher, every time he has a conversation or an argument, he always does it perfectly. And even Lee Child will tell you, what he does is he'll sit and he'll think about the argument, and what Reacher actually says is what Lee Child would have said if he sat and thought about it for 10 days and came back and came back with the perfect witty response. So,
Lee Child's in the shower raging, arguing with his shampoo bottles.
So that's why I thought it was kind of okay to do it like that, so long as I got it right.
Yeah,
And so long as it was accepted.
Oh no, definitely. I mean, it's you're talking about movies and that. Any film that has like the film Warfare that came out recently. Obviously, it's like you're not glamorizing. You're just giving like a realistic depiction of it. And I think as long as there's a bit of groundedness with it, I think that's if it's too kind of out there, or you're like that's too unrealistic, as long as there's a bit of reality to it, people buy that. And that's that to me why the likes of your features and that, because for all it is action and fun and over the top, there is a grounded reality there, that it comes from, because we all know somebody that has, or well, has been in the army, maybe as 6'7" and like built like a brick shit house, but
I think it's what made it for me is the best ones, and I think you've hit the nail on the head, is about being respectful to it. And because if you go off and you make something up and unrealistic, and somebody who's got real experience, like when I went down to my firearms training stuff, and like the part of Wales I was in, they're all paras. Like I went to the hotel I was staying in, run by a para. I went to a pub run by an ex-para. It was shocking, like, and all these people, but they love that type of stuff. And so long as it's respectful. So they would generally seem to quite like the same Apocalypse Now, the Craig Bond stuff, the same things I tended to see as more kind of authentic.
Yeah.
So that was a real important thing for me, and I think we did I did my best job at that. It was a lot of fun. You got to research stuff as well.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
important. You
No,
know?
you want it to seem like, as I say, you want the authenticity, and you want it to be like, if someone's interested in something, like I say, we've done podcasts in the past where it's been like something that is totally outside of my wheelhouse or comfort zone, and people are talking about it, and their passion brings you into it and it gets you excited. Like I says, even going to like St Andrews golf, we had Jordan in the podcast a couple of weeks ago, you know, sim racing, and I'm like, I'd never done any of that, and just listening to him, I'm like, my God, like that, just the passion somebody has for something's incredible.
It is, and if you're speaking to those people, so you do a novel on it involves a bit of golf, bonds, novel golf can do actually, or VR racing, whatever it is, or racing. You're driving your car fast.
Yeah.
So the reality of doing that, it's actually a lot tougher than what you imagine it to be if you've not done it.
Yeah.
So that's the thing, like shooting a gun. Like, so, you know, I've done the firearms training, I've shot real weapons, and know what has got terrible recoil and what's feels like a paintball. It's amazing the things that feel like paintball guns. I don't know if you know, but it's scary. And so to have that with it as well is what makes it for me. So, you know, if you go to the driving range, right, and you're trying to hit a golf ball, but then maybe the wind kicks up or something and your hand gets sweaty and then the ball kind of moves a little bit, and the little bit of astroturf's not quite right and all this, you're getting frustrated. So all these little things I think are really important when you're writing a story. So, and I'll get better at doing that.
No, like you could, as I say, it's like things you pick up and stuff. I mean, it always sticks in my mind. I don't know if you, again, we always end up talking about movies and there's video games and stuff, but remember, did you ever play like the Call of Duty games back in the day? So remember All Gillied Up, and it was the Coriolis effect with the bullet bending because of the distance in that. I'm like, add that stuff
James
in.
McAvoy with a
that's
bullet,
it. I wanted. I remember that. I can see Morgan Freeman's face with a bullet coming through. Oh no, it is. It's like those wee things like that. Like obviously, it's the Coriolis effect's a real thing, but then the wanted stuff. It's just you're just like, you know, it's believable enough that it's got that kind of you know, see if you just give somebody reasoning for something. Like I never thought the Marvel movies would work because I'm like, how does science and magic work? And there's that one line, science is just magic to people who, you know, are, you know, and you're like, and see that's it straight away. I was like, I'm in. That's me. Yeah, that's all my answers. All my questions I've answered now. I'm happy with that. And as I say, just it grounds it and gives you that kind of believability, even though like you're talking about like gods fighting monsters and stuff. But no, it's good. What's obviously we're audiobooks done. Capo itself has been out. Is that a month now we've been out for? Is that just about a month?
It's about a month, yeah.
Obviously we'll get it linked into your obviously yourself. I'd say your I was going to say bad Black Arts Development's bad. That's obviously where I got it from. Is that the best place? We'll link all that for you to get that. Is that?
Oh, thank you. Yeah, no, it is. Yeah. I mean, people can get it on Amazon if they want, and that's to me, it's fine. More important to me that people read the story, but if they want, you know, the personal touch that comes with it, then blackartsdevelopment.com is the place to get that, because I can't get it through Amazon by doing that for people.
No, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And
see the price and all the rest of it, but I've got to get it in and then get it out and then all the other stuff. So
no, that's it. It's a logistic nightmare, I suppose. So we're doing it that way. But you know, I'll link all that in there. Is that something you're using? So obviously, your Black Art Development, is that something that you're looking to do more with, or that is how does that work for you?
That sounds like this is not even a pre-planned question, but yeah, it is. Black Arts. It's called development because I was exploring funding with someone. Now, in the film industry, you'll meet a lot of people that will tell you a lot of stuff. I went to Berlin Alley and I spoke to Creative Scotland. And I spoke to a bunch of other people. By the way, Creative Scotland, are they in trouble?
How so?
I don't know. Well, there's allegations. I think you have to say alleged. Very much alleged.
Yes.
There's a round table happening very soon. I know someday. I was speaking to him at the weekend, actually. Very cool gentleman who runs a very large talent agency. You'll know who they are.
Yeah.
So he's there are allegations, which may or may not be true, that ghost producers would be involved in stuff. So, say for example, if you wanted to film something in Scotland and wanted funding,
Mm-hmm.
and you were English, Irish, or American, and you weren't getting funding from where you were, but you were getting a studio coming on board if you got grant funding. So, say for example, Creative Scotland told me, "Yeah, we'll give you $6 million for Capo the series, 6 parts. If you get 21 million from Amazon," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, sure. I'm just going to walk into Amazon and get 21 million quid." Like, right, cool. So they back winning horses. They do help people, and they tried to help me a little bit, to the best of their ability. But what was happening was, so somebody from nowhere near Scotland wants to make a film with maybe some Scottish people in it. So, but a lot of the MUAs, a lot of the crew come from the States or wherever it is, Batman, Batgirl, and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So you say to a producer in Scotland, "Hey, how would you like to be producer on X project?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, definitely, absolutely." So they'll get a credit at the end that says produce, executive producer or producer. Boom, Scottish quota met. No Scottish jobs, nothing.
Yeah.
And but it was sick. Oh no, sorry. Allegedly, the allegation is there was cyclical money going on, so it was coming right on back.
Yeah.
Pretty bad.
That's poor.
Know.
That's poor. If that's true, that's poor.
It's a rumor. It's a big rumor that I don't know if it's true or not.
Allegedly, this is happening. We don't need lawsuits.
No, we don't. We won't get any. Don't enough trouble. But basically, so I was speaking to a gentleman. Well, no, it wasn't a gentleman. A man who basically said Paramount Plus will make your TV series. Got a line producer on board. Paid the line producer half of what he was supposed to do. And I still talk to the line producer. It's cool. But the gentleman in question did not pay his half to the line producer. Now, the line producer makes the budget from the script and all the rest of it. And then we go out to try and get the cash for it. So it's like, yeah, I got contact at Paramount. Oh, and then we'd stall things and nothing would happen. And then he came back and he said, what's the Tom Hardy series called again?
Mobland. Is it Mobland?
Mobland, right?
Mobland.
So he came back and like about a year ago or something, it's like, oh yeah, no, Paramount aren't filming anything in the UK and it wouldn't be anything to do with gangster stuff. Like what? Like 12 months later, I'm looking at Mobland. I tell you something else. I handed. How litigious are we allowed to get here?
I don't know. I'll need to get my solicitor involved now. That's it. They're already dealing with my house, so they might as well.
Yeah, no, don't do that. Hey, have you watched a TV series called Guy Ritchie's The Gentleman?
What? So we mentioned Netflix earlier. I'm quite wary of Netflix. I love the movie.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to watch a TV show.
It's like loads of people love it.
Yeah, I've heard good things, and I like the main actor who escapes me. It was in The Monkey, a couple of months ago, that I saw. It looks really good.
And I think a lot of it works really well. A lot of it sounds an awful lot like the pilot for Capo. Well, the ex-captain, the brother, ex-captain, brother, gangster's daughter, gangster. There was a lot of that, but I mean, I look at that, and to me, it felt like something that somebody's seen something, and it's like, you know how Gordon Ramsay could put his name on a set of knives. Like, oh man, Gordon Ramsay uses these knives. He doesn't.
Yeah, of course.
He doesn't pay 50 quid for that knife. He goes and gets a quarter, whatever it is. So nobody was doing anything. But hey, look at these things. So you get a lot of that. So
weird.
Yeah, during that time, I set up a development company, which you have to have if you're going to go and make anything. So you can say this is development, so that it's separate from you. So if you put your money in or whatever, and then everything, like, so you made like the TV series and you didn't get a return or whatever, you could cut your losses because you're a separate entity. But it's also good because if you're doing anything like publishing, then it's better to separate. Not that I'm making really any money from the book, but it's better to separate things. So yes, Black Arts Development is primed and set up to push any novel, and it's there for Capo the movie. Basically, that's its kind of secondary role now. So that's what it's for.
Because I just, as I say, I love, I just love stories like that where it's someone that's, had that like seed that's been planted, and that it's just eventually it has like bloomed, and it can take, a couple of months, a couple of years, it can take decades. But like that is like the end point, and like you've got your launching pad there for it. Like I wanted to, when I was doing this setting out, I don't know much about like audio or video or internet or like web-based stuff. So again, no through networking, but just through being friends with people, like that's how I wanted to make sure that it wasn't just like, I wanted the it sounds really weird, right? I wanted the email to be like at the whiskysourhour.com. It just, fake it till you make it. That's exactly what it is.
Oh man, honest to goodness, like, I I was at a seminar from the company I work for in Texas about 10 years ago, and they have this kind of online system, so it tracks all your risk assessments, all your ordering, and all the rest of it, task plans. And they said to the Americans, "Oh, you have to put in all the equipment data. There's loads of equipment on an ROV." And they were, grumbles, more work for us. And I said, "No, that's a great thing, because if they've got the data, then we'll never get a wrong part again, because it'll be cross-checked." And the woman had a panic attack. She's like, she came back and apologized for having a panic attack. She says, no, this is a shop window. Like, if we were to do that, we'd need like 100 people. He's like, I've got 2 guys working on this. So, like you say, fake it. You're not really faking it till you make it. You're as legitimate as anybody out there.
You're wanting to look the part, and I think it's when you see these things, it's like you can have someone at like I mean, back in the day, we all had a cringy email back in the day, like TJ Styles 2K7 at hotmail.com. My MSN was wild. A lot of folk were born in 1969. I don't know why that is.
I know, right?
But like we all change it, and like you've got your lives and Gmails now, and I was like, I wanted it to sound kind of the part, and it was my friend was like, "Oh no, you can buy that." It's like, and I was amazed at how cheap it was, like to get a domain, like, and he's like, "Oh, that's yours, and you pay like so much every so often, and that's you." Incredible, right? But why does more people not do this? It's so easy.
I know. It just the legitimacy of it all, and showing yourself as a legitimate person. And there's we say fake it till you make it, but there's no pretense, man. You're doing the right thing. You're taking steps, and I think that's one thing to take confidence in, that you know that you're doing these cool things where people see as being valid, which you are. And it's a cool name, isn't it? And the graphics awesome. Like, I really
appreciate it, man. So I did like it's just myself, and I did use AI to begin with, and then I've got my friend to basically do like and he's going to kill me because I'll say the name wrong, but basically he's re-hand drew it, so with like lines and stuff. So I've kind of got him to do that. So that's that when that comes in, and it means I can like it will look good when you put it on things, perhaps. So there might be hoodies or something coming down the road. But yeah, just it was one of the ones. It's just like kind of similar to yourself. I've got 2 spaniels. I go long walks with the headphones in and end up falling down like rabbit holes of podcasts or whatever.
Spaniels fault.
Oh man, they just keep going. So
they're
like I'd be Lauren will be punching me because they're no nightmares. They're amazing, but they're barrels of joy and energy that they just keep you going. So I've been dead fortunate with them. But yeah, you end up going down like rabbit holes and listening to things, and I was always like, I don't know why, it just Lauren and I's favourite cocktails are whiskey sour, and I was like, it's a cool way to drink, and that's what we say. It's like you're talking about coming to a bar, SEO buying a bar. When you walk into a bar, you end up striking up conversations with folk, and like you say, it could be something that you're no interested in at all. Next thing you know, you're like, you're my best mate. That's what I want this to be. It's like a speakeasy. It's what it is, and literally speakeasy.
The funny thing is, whiskey sour. I think the first time I tried the whiskey sour was because there was a Green Day song, whiskey sour.
Oh, right.
And it's on the album Uno, which I really liked. And then I ordered a whiskey sour at the Dome in Edinburgh because
oh, nice. That's a festive icon there.
Oh man, and I've never felt more relaxed there. I had that whiskey, and I thought, and that became my drink for a while. So I've had a whiskey sour at the Howlin' Wolf, when they would do them.
Oh.
And it's such a relaxing. It captures what you're going for, the feeling that you're going
I
for.
appreciate that. No, thank
Yeah,
you. No, it's my favourite. It's such a it's a cool drink to see getting made,
a
and
man's drink as
it
well.
is as
Yeah.
I didn't think the Rusty
Yeah.
Nailer were really worked. It sounded a bit too violent, you know. So
Yeah. It's the man. It's the man that knows he can do what he needs to do, but
yeah. Oh mate, that's
he's
exactly it.
calm about
Listen,
it.
if SEO has to have a drink, I would happily put ourselves forward for that to make his whiskey. You know,
Oh
instead of
wow.
martini shaken not stirred, a whiskey sour would be pretty cool. I think.
Well, hey, do you know what? It's kind of already probably on the cards because I had to come up with something. And he's drinking Macallan quite a bit throughout. So
I
yeah,
did see that. I
Mhm.
do. I like Macallan. I like Dalmore as well. That's a favourite as well. So good whiskey drinks. You can't go wrong.
You can't knock it. No, and my friend I was talking to the weekend. Oh my goodness, he drinks so much whiskey. Couldn't cope. But my favourite was always I find whiskey's a funny thing because it's an emotional connection in it. It's like
Mhm.
if you had it at a time in your life that was important to you. So mine's is a Glenlivet. It's probably about a 15 because I couldn't afford anything else. but there's something about that. A wee splash of water at the time, and aye, that was my one. But
I was
excellent
always
Macallan.
kind of told, oh, you don't need to put water in it, my dad. He'll probably, if he's listening to this, he'll crucify us. Like,
Get
but it's
annoyed.
like it just takes a mellow. It allows it to be a much more palatable because sometimes you take them. I love a. I'm going. I'd say my favourite, just for the time, I got a Highland Park when I was 21, and it was glorious. I
Okay.
love really peaty and smoky, and so I wanted to be like drinking tar sometimes. You know, like it's that kind of like it's almost
Oh
like
wow,
it feels medicinal in your mouth, and
sounds
it
good.
just like you're saying, you put the water in it, it just melt, like it just takes the edge off. It's so nice to drink. So yeah, no, really nice. But
I'm a fan.
it's just it's what it's about, and like going off of what you're doing, and we've mentioned this before. It's just it's just an artistic pursuit. This is just it's vocalizing, you know, the chat is what it's about. And what you've done with Capo, is just it's brilliant. As I say, I'm working my way through it, and to read something that is almost like watching or reading like an HBO like script. But I know that's genuine. Like that's what we're talking before. We're in the middle of like an HBO kind of renaissance at the moment. I think it's just the best, and I can't wait till HBO Max gets launched here because I'm no mad for the Fire Sticks. I'll
No.
wait till it's out, and then we can just like binge all the good stuff.
Oh, that's cool, man. That's a great way to do it as well. Just
Aye,
catching up on it.
no,
But
it is.
I
Is there anything, you know, like in the kind of timeline you mentioned you were at the Lothian Film Festival? Is there anything coming up where people could maybe come and see you, or is there anything you want to plug kind of coming up?
there's nothing in the timeline, but you know, if there's anyone out there that wants to see anything about it, then hey, my details are all there. Feel free to contact me. There's not a great deal coming up. Um, the next thing I'm going to be concentrating on is writing the next book and mobilising for the feature film.
That's exciting.
That
That's
takes a
exciting.
lot, and it's maybe yeah, maybe no. There'll be no good to so quote. So sometimes good, sometimes not. So I'll be going and I'll be trying to get a big name for a certain character. Not necessarily.
That's pretty exciting. No, listen, that's
And
what it's
then
about, man. Yeah,
second effect. So I don't
yeah.
know, maybe never. But that's the next thing planned for this. And I would happily show the proof of concept anywhere really. Uh, yeah.
Is the proof of concept available anywhere? Can people watch it on YouTube or anything?
Well, I've been thinking about that. Yeah, I mean, it's been shown in a public setting, so
Mm-hmm.
I might chuck it up on YouTube. I'll certainly,
You've shared a good, you know, I've seen obviously the clips and that you've shared,
yeah,
and you can
yeah.
see them regularly in your page, which is good because I mean I shared them there, and it's just kind of everything you want. It's got like it's that bit of rough, bit of excitement, man. It's cool. It's just there's no other word. It's so cool that we're at a point that you can do this,
Man.
man. You know, so
It was mad as well because that was filmed in one morning, mostly, except from there's a kind of forest scene in the middle where I've got like the best stunt guys in like the world working with me, like no, but like in the country, actually in Scotland, actually
yeah.
three of the best. from Combat International, who work with like Ridley Scott and Big Chick up at Duncara Medieval Village all the time, who's in all the Ridley Scott stuff. When he's Russell Crowe's mate, Russell Crowe. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, they're all these guys that you see, and the choking bit and the that's Mark Coyle. Mark Coyle is a legend. I would never do that without permission. He's like the nicest guy. We were filming Slave and the General just the other week, and we were doing this bit, so we had to have like a helmet on, and he's like, all right, so like punch me, and he's like, but don't punch me. And then so I have to so when my hands here like a full extend, but you get to just enough impact so you could feel it, so you can react. He's like, this is the one and only time I'm going to say to you to punch me. Okay.
No pressure.
This is everywhere. But he's lethal, but he's the nicest person in the world. And he's super talented. So him and Mick Holland, who are also doing a lot of the stuff in there. So the bit where I hit a guy with a gun, that's Mick Holland. So it's all in the cell. So these guys are amazing in it. So that was in another afternoon. But yeah, so I was really lucky with how we were able to film it. I'll probably release it on YouTube at some point. I'll send you a link as well.
Oh no, of course, man.
But the one thing about it is the caveat is that as the organizer of West Lothian Film Festival, Christopher McPhillips rightly said, it's the proof of concept, so it shows you what we're capable of.
Mm-hmm.
But it was written at a time where there's a little bit of dialogue. Other people might not notice it, but for me, I'm like, they probably lost a little bit here or there. But it shows you like a tenth of what it could be.
Yeah, yeah.
That's all it is. It's like giving you a photograph.
Yeah.
An extra couple of photographs, that's what it is.
It is. It's like if you watch like a costume test for somebody.
Yeah, that's like
it's
like that.
It's the same thing, you come out, you might look at, aye, that's exactly it. You look at somebody and you're like, I don't see them as that person, and all of a sudden they're in the costume and you're like, wait a minute, we're there.
That's what we want,
So no, it's as I say, the clips you've shown just look great. So we'll look out for that. Obviously, I'll share everything in the comments and the links. Will be in the comments to everything you've got, like books, your website, all that kind of stuff. We'll get on there, but we've been going on for a little bit over an hour and a bit there, and so I
enjoyed it.
It has been an absolute pleasure, Chris. I can't thank you enough for coming on and just letting us into your world a little bit, man. It's been so interesting. I've loved it.
There's so much more for you to experience, though.
Listen, you'll be back. I want to. We could maybe do a review of the Transformers, animated movie for the 1980, man. 1987, I think. So we could do that. But listen, it has been great. Just before obviously we go, we just the usual. We've got our Facebook, Instagrams. Please follow us at thewhiskeysourhour.com. We're also on we're on YouTube. You can get us all in there at thewhiskeysourhour.com. If you want to contact us, contact at thewhiskeysourhour.com. It's been some show. Chris, thank you so much.
Thank you, man. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. It's been easy.
Listen, that's it. I was getting myself all worked up today, and I was like, I hope it goes. But just because I was like, I'm not used to doing like the kind of in-person ones. I've not done one of these in a wee while. I wanted it to be good, and I wanted it to feel natural. I think we smashed it, mate. I think it's been good.
It's easy. It's easy when it's on your mates, isn't it?
That's it, mate. I appreciate it. No, it's so good, Chris. Thank you. We'll wrap it up there then. I've been Thomas Waddle. This has been Chris Black, and you've been listening to the Whisky Sour Hour. Cheers.